Hi guys, welcome back to my Redstone world, and today I'm going to be showcasing the video game that I've created, which is right here. So you have your spacecraft and you have an enemy spacecraft. And the object of the game is just to shoot down your opponent without being hit by theirs. I have a little life meter up here, and these are your control functions. This one here will move you up, and this one will move you down using that barrel shifter over there. I'll get into that here in a minute. Here we have a firing, and the object of the game is to move and shoot the enemy opponent without being hit. And I'll show you how that kind of works. I'll have to wait for a new enemy. There, we got one. And we'll move up and we'll take a firing shot and move up out of the way. And as you can tell, this will go ahead and hit him. And there we go. He's been destroyed. So then we can move around. And now we have two enemies. And I'll go ahead and let them fire. And I'm actually going to try to get hit. And when you get hit, you lose life. Now I don't have a reset function all the way set up, but that's in a future game. I'm gonna go ahead and show you exactly how I accomplish this. So we'll go over here and start off with your barrel shifter. So here's my down line and my up line. And so when your bit comes through, you just, as any shift register, you'll just shift your bit through, and it will produce the image on the other side through these control lines, which indicate where the player has been placed. Let me go ahead and run this guy up here real quick. I'll just shift him down. And there you go. He came on up. This will be a little bit easier to show you what's going on. So over here in the back is where our player is. As you can see, he's up here at the top. And what I've done is I've ran a comparator through the front of the pixel here to indicate where the player is, which comes through this block, and it turns off this torch here. Any torch that you have in this system that is on is an unoccupied area. So what I did in order to detect your firing sequence is I ANDed it together with your firing sequence. Through this white line is your firing sequence, which goes into this observer, and these repeaters cancel the second signal of the observer, allowing for a 1 tick pulse. And as it pulses through, it will turn these towers off briefly, allowing for the player location, which is that one right there, and this torch down here at the bottom will AND together and turn this light on, or torch, which will extend this sticky piston into these observers, allowing you to fire off a shot, which, yeah, I can demonstrate that. Let me kill this torch here. And as you can tell, we got a firing sequence off right through here. And it propagated on down into the hit detection system on the other side. So that's how the firing sequence works. It's just AND gates together, so the player location and the firing sequence will allow you to shoot through the system without firing each individual, or it allows you to fire each individual shot rather than all of them shooting at once. So just some AND gates. Over here is the enemy. As you can tell, that torch there just fired off. We'll back up and maybe we'll see it flicker again. I don't know where the enemy is at the moment. So, oh, here comes a shot right here. And as you can tell, that torch turns off when the enemy has fired. But because the player's location, which would be this torch, isn't located, nothing happens on the other side. Whereas up here, here it comes, you'll get to witness this. Turns off, turning this light torch on briefly, which comes through this observer, which gives a brief pulse, and that would detect your life. So when you got hit, it would show that you were hit. And we can just go ahead and turn back on our lives here. This is the reset function that I just haven't ran over to the other side. As you can tell right there, we did get hit again, so we lost a life. Basically how this one happens is I've taking a pulse from the player location through this observer, and I've added a cop flop or T flip flop, whichever you prefer, into this, which turns this torch off until the player has moved, which then would toggle this off, turning this torch back on. And then as the enemy fires through this relay of torches, I've observed their firing sequence, which then comes back through, as you've seen earlier, with a little bit of delay to lengthen this pulse to make this torch stay off for a little longer, so that this AND gate, which is what this is, will fire off, making you deplete a life. In the back here is each of the lamps is where the enemy is firing. So that's the enemy's fire. The observer's facing this way with the redstone in between it is how I got your craft to fire. So it fires this way. On this side of the machine, I basically mirrored what I did here with a few different amplifications in order to get the craft to actually show up. We'll just start it up here at the top. So this observer here is your firing sequence, which gets, if I can fly through here, which comes on down the line and then shoots out here and gets observed right here and into this system here, and would go on through to this observer, which would observe where the enemy is, so that you can't just turn on and off lights at will by firing. I went ahead and installed this right here, and this comparator, as you can tell down here, is the location of the enemy. And when the enemy has been located, it will come on through and unlock this repeater. As you can tell, it just locked, so there's no longer an enemy craft here, but there is one here. It unlocks this repeater, allowing your firing sequence to come through and destroy your enemy craft. At the same time that the enemy, we'll go down here because he just popped in. At the same time, when the enemy has been observed in that location, it will turn this torch on, which then comes into this AND gate. And as you can tell, when the firing sequence from the enemy, which is this system here with the etho hopper clock, gets detected between the AND gates, it'll send off the pulse, allowing the enemy to fire like that right there. So basically I built this video game with AND gates. So the player location and the firing sequence will allow you to shoot that column. The enemy location and the firing sequence will allow the enemy to shoot. So that way, not all of them are firing all at once. But as you can tell, all of the torches get lit up at the same time and turned off at the same time. And because I ANDed the location with the firing sequence on both sides, then it will only fire to the corresponding sector. Over here is mumbo-jumbo's randomizer, and this little bitty purple section here is the randomizer. So you put shocker boxes in there and you fill them to where they give off the appropriate signal strength. And then this is a red coder, which takes the signal strength and inverts it into a selectable panel, basically. And what I've done is observed which light or torch is being active, and I've relayed that out into the system to light up your enemies. This is just another etho clock, and I've timed this, I think, in a decent manner. It's may look like it's slow, but depending on where your craft is and how long it takes you to get down into there to be able to actually fire your shot, I had to make them stay out there quite a long time in order for your firing sequence to be able to reach your enemy and destroy them. So that's pretty much how the system works. The only trickery part about this whole system was this right here. I had a little bit of difficulty trying to figure out how I was going to run, not only detecting where the enemy craft was, but also being able to input where the enemy craft was going to be. And came up with this pretty nifty little design. So this repeater, I lost my brain for a minute, will only power this bottom block, and this top repeater will only power this top block. So you don't get any interference between the two repeaters, which I was able to wrap this around and make this work pretty well. One other thing I did to this system was I did add a little funky little animation down here at the bottom, so where it would kind of resemble some kind of flying mechanism as you were going through the world or whatever. Kind of cheesy, but as you can tell, it kind of lags the world out a little bit. So I keep it turned off. But you could do something like that. So that is the video game showcase. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Any questions, please leave comments down below, and I will try to answer each and every one of them. If you'd like a further tutorial on how I was able to accomplish my little video game, let me know, and I may do a future tutorial. So thanks for watching, and enjoy your day.